council representation?
Yep.
Representation. What names are they? Somebody said Morjo, you got that.
Starts with a D.
Yeah. All right. In what year did the CSKT have equal number of councilmen and councilwomen for the first time? Any guess? Or a points, guys. These are big points. No. Just somebody said 18.
Who said it?
Woo! All right. We will give you free parking. No, free parking pass. Meet us down here. Here's your hype man right here.
Oh,
Woo!
he shows up just in
All right. But yeah, so that was a little trivia, tribal government trivia. I think we got through all the questions. So maybe next year we'll have prizes.
If anyone else brought any printouts and you want to get them out, we've got a couple of minutes until we're going to get started here. We're going to start right at 6. Cats, are we ready to go? Yep, we are going to start right at 6. Yep, so you've got about 5 minutes, and then we're going to get going.
Sibilance. Testing. Sibilance.
It's really low. It's really low.
Oh God, Charcouste is here.
It's really low.
Paparazzi.
Start.
Oh, right. Go sit down. You stay back here. I'm going to do a great job.
Are you the, how you doing?
I guess so. I'm the
He'll be
MC.
He'll be muting Mike.
Mike Muter.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Muter.
Okay. Okay, we're going to get started.
Just want to say hello to everybody. My name's Kenny Joshi Camel. Been asked to give a prayer. It was created by the Salish Culture Committee. It goes like this. Kekudlan Tsuten, Kumi Haslu Kash Shishawal, Chaul, Sinkuskatlihu, Chaul, Esjatluka Stkul, Kekas Katlemi, Kekas Okastowe, Esja Yatwa. Our Creator, hopefully the path is good for our fellow people. For all of our work, we will try our best and will help one another in everything that we do today. May it be so. Lem lemsh.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2025 CSKT Primary All-District Forum. I'm Danielle Matt. I'm the council representative for Jalip, formerly Dixon. This year I'm serving as the chairwoman of the election committee. So we'd like to thank Salish Kootenai College for hosting this event here at the Johnny R. Lee Victor Charlot Theater. We'd also like to thank those in attendance, all of the candidates and everybody live streaming and in the audience. We hope to provide the tribal membership with the information and insight needed to make their best choices for the future of our tribal leadership. Tonight we will be introducing to you all 18 candidates across 5 districts: Arlee, Elmo, Ronan, Polson, and at-large. Before you meet the candidates, let me introduce you to our moderators, Rob McDonald, and, gosh, Ruthie, I almost forgot your last name, I'm sorry. Ruth Swaney, and Rob is our communications director, and Ruthie is our budget director. So thank you all and best of luck to each of our candidates. I'll hand it over to the moderators. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Danielle. Is this microphone on? Okay, good. I can't hear myself up here. Hello to everyone here and live streaming. Good to have you here. Each of our candidates have been given 8 core questions in advance. Tonight we will be randomly generating the order of districts. To the candidates, once your district is called, please join us up on stage. We will randomly generate 4 of the 8 questions for that district. Each candidate will have a 1-minute response time. Afterward, we will move on to supplemental questions that the candidate has not been provided beforehand. Those will also be randomly generated.
Candidates, when you see the yellow sign, you will have 10 seconds left. The lovely lady there with the yellow sign. When your time is up, you'll see the red sign. If you continue past your allotted time response, your microphone will be muted. We ask everyone to be respectful and courteous of others' time, and good luck. The first district will be randomly generated and the number announced by the timekeepers. The moderators then will read the corresponding district. Districts will be 1 through 5 alphabetically. Districts, I have to correct this to Jocko, as it is in the Constitution. At large, Elmo Dayton, Ronan, and Polson. And we will alternate the questions, and the questions will be labeled 1 through 8, randomly generated, and announced by the timekeepers. First question in each district will begin with their name. That would be at-large candidates.
Please come up. At-large candidates. You want to do the first one? And while we're waiting for them to get settled, do you want to do the question randomizer? Question 5. It'll be the same question to all candidates.
Begin with the very first candidate here. When the tribes purchase lands, what should be our top priorities to decide which lands to buy?
First, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to run again. The lands that I would prioritize would be trust properties that are already in trust, because that's a core to our tribal reservation, and it's more appropriate to do that for the benefit of our people. The second process would be, or the category would be, those that have a secure funding source to acquire that property and utilize that to the maximum benefit for land acquisition. The third one would be those that our economic development potential is really high, so that we can get a return on those properties immediately. So jobs and economic development is critical for us, and a lot of times we miss the boat on that. We look at certain tracts of property where it's not something that's a business or has a good economic ability or can provide a lot of jobs for our membership. So I would look at that.
And remember, candidates, please start with your name.
My name is Lois Friedlander. I'm going to go ahead and read what I wrote, and then if I have any time, I'll just kind of expound. Yeah, can you hear me? It's free. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, so why would the mic not be working? It's green. Okay, I'll talk loud. 5. The Confederated Salish and Kootenai need to understand that during the termination era, the federal government reinstated our tribes using land allotment records. Those holding land allotments were mainly lineal descendants, and then in parentheses I have, has their life estate elapsed? This needs to be scrutinized by conducting a thorough land audit. Those who are actual tribal members should be allowed to sell their land holdings back to the tribes, as reverting to fee and selling to the general population is defeating the purpose of us doing land buyback. We should purchase all tribal lands from tribal members, no matter how minuscule or fractionated, to make our reservation lands whole again.
That's time.
It's already time.
Next candidate. I can read the question again if you like.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam Barnaby, born here and raised here on the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, and I'm running for the St. Ignatius at-large ticket against the incumbent Tom McDonald. Lands is a very important thing. One of the very important things is the fact of basically what Lois was going on. Land was taken from our grandmother on Dirty Corner. If you really go back to the days of old, the Arley Power Grounds is the Barnaby allotment. And so a lot of things need to be rectified as far as land and how it's to be purchased, because in my honest opinion, and it's just my opinion, a lot of lands have been swaddled, compromised, and lost through our present government and even in the present. Thank you.
And that's time.
It's in Louis Quest. Jesse Nindame's no name. Nequest Tustum Kaken. Priority for land, I would think wildlife habitat, potential places for tribal businesses. Let's see. Potential sites for schools. Just whatever we need as a tribal membership, that should be our priority. You know, land is important, but also our people is important. So whatever serves them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, candidates. If we can randomize the next question, please. Question 6. Lois, we're going to start with you.
What is your opinion of the current political climate?
Our tribal government needs to revive our tribal constitution, like so many tribes have done already. And then I put Dr. Beth Redberg, Northwestern University, Chicago Office of Policy Research, in parentheses in case you want to look this up. Okay, I'm not going to read, yeah, I guess I better read what I say because sometimes I'll take you clean around the world before I get to the point. Sure. Okay, so we are non-Indian governed to the extent that our leaders have steered our entire tribal membership toward white ideology, and this will not protect our future survival of our tribes. The Tribal Council has convinced others to bring tribal enrollment to the forefront, even though there are more pressing issues that need attention. It can be proven that we are currently at a population baseline that allows us sufficient time to draft a well-thought-out enrollment policy that replaces...
And thank you, that's time. Sorry. Strict rules here.
Yeah,
And next candidate, please.
That's a very key question to my candidacy for running for the at-large. We talk about what's been going on nationally, and we have our own politics that's gerrymandering its own politics and making up their own rules. We need to go back to the original Constitution and not be going off an amended Constitution that was never voted upon.
Please go ahead.
The question again, please.
What is your opinion of the current political climate?
For tribal council, I think it's transparency. I think we need to be transparent with the people. So, and we need to inspire the people by example. We definitely need to get more awareness out, and we need to teach more about our tribes so people can get excited about who we are. And we need to promote place ownership so people take ownership of our reservation and our language and culture. So, yeah, thank you.
So, Mr. Randomizer, if you could give us the next question. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Tom McDonald. You know, for me, it's the national politics are really critical for me, because when I look at things, I look at what is out there for the 7 generations out. When I see a national climate that doesn't care about climate change, thinks it's a spoof, and thinks that all Indians are drunks, and wants to cut funding for Medicaid and Medicare and a lot of critical funding that we need for our people, for me, it's functioning at the national level is one of the most critical issues for our future. And so we're sitting here in a very difficult time and very troubling. And so working with our elected leaders in Washington, D.C. is a critical thing, and then state governments the same way. We need to be able to turn things around. We need to get our people to vote. We need to make sure that we change the paradigm in these other governments.
Now, Mr. Randomizer, and those outside, if you want to come in and have a seat, please do. It's a good time.
What is your opinion of the tribe's hiring practices? And we'll start with Sam.
First and above all, tribal preference. Tribal preference means those who are enrolled members of the Confederate Salish Kootenai Ponderay tribes. They should be given the opportunity, especially those who own their own businesses and have gone through the forefront, gone through the red tape of basically making their business legit, and they should be on the forefront of who we let those bids go out to as far as employing them and others who have the same experience as far as employment.
I would like to see our tribes hire and train people on certain positions that they might not be qualified for, and make sure we're all fair and transparent, and foster more opportunities for tribal member businesses for contract positions and projects. And I definitely think with, if there's any wiggle room for more tribal employee rights and privileges, we should definitely do that. Because, thank you for everybody who showed up today at 5:30 after work. And if you live in Arley, that's like a 12-hour day. Elmo, it's like an 11-hour day. So definitely help the people.
Back to Tom.
I believe that we have a pretty good policy in place right now with our Indian preference. And Indian preference is a hard-fought win that in Indian country, to be able to discriminate in our hiring practices. We need to maximize that opportunity. And I want to piggyback on something that Jesse said. It's really important that we train our workforce. We know we have these jobs in these areas where we need to go to. We need to make sure that we're doing the workforce development, the training necessary to get our people in those positions, train them in the professional positions that we have. So this facility here, the college, is critical for that. So is all of our other funding that we can get to bring that to bear, to train our membership, to make sure they fill all of our positions. But I truly believe that Indian preference is something that we need to maintain and maximize to the fullest extent.
To Tom's point, I truly believe that there are few tribal positions that really require intense college education. A lot of these jobs, I think we can take our tribal membership and train them from within. And I really think that we have to exercise federal law, which allows us to have strong Indian preference policies. Our policies have become weakened to the point I can walk in any tribal entity here, any program, any entity, and see that we have way too many non-Indians working within our tribal organization, and they're making the livable wage where our youth that are out of college, they have to forfeit being able to have a career on the reservation, and that is not fair. And I really want us to strengthen and go as far as rewriting our tribal preference ordinance.
Thank you. That's time.
Oh.
Mr. Randomizer.
Hello.
Question 3. Go ahead.
Describe why you think the voter turnout for tribal elections is historically low, and what strategies would you implement to improve it? Jesse.
I wrote here, if tribal council were more responsive to the needs of the people, I think people would get more excited about it. Promotion and importance of our government inspired the people by example. We just need to give back to the people more. We just need more housing, make sure everybody has food, and work together, and definitely tackle some big issues that our tribes are facing. Okay, thank you.
All right, Tom.
Would you like the question again, Tom?
No, I can remember that question. Thank you, Rob. Years and years ago, I was sat on a constitutional review committee for our tribes, and decades and decades ago. And this is one of the issues that came up was, what do we do to maximize making sure everybody votes? Because all of us have a stake in it. We all need to take ownership in it. So everybody should vote, not just youth. Everybody needs to vote. And if everybody voted in this country, in the whole United States, we'd have a different turnout in Washington, D.C., in Congress today, and even in the state capitol here in Montana. So it's imperative that everybody votes. So what can you do for something like that? We actually talked about making it a requirement to maintain your membership, that you vote. And if you don't vote, you're not an active member. You're ousted. And so that's something to the degree that you could go, but I don't know we'd ever do something like that. So it's really about edification of our membership, getting incentives, making sure that they understand that it is a need that they need to do. They need to own it. They need to be responsible.
As far as our elections, I don't think people turn out to the extent that they should, because a lot of people fear that our elections are rigged, and in the past I have questioned that myself. So I've been looking at election forensic journals and reading a lot about how some of that might take place. And basically what it comes back to each and every time is that whatever happens in the primary is a pretty good sample poll of what should carry over through the general. And throughout our tribe's election history, I have seen candidates do very well in the primaries. They're winning, they're ahead. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time for the absentee ballots to be counted, somehow they just lose. And to me, until we can correct that, until we can assure our tribal membership, you know, the last election I went and tried to grab 15 people and they didn't want to vote because of that. They had no trust.
Would you please repeat the question so that the audience knows exactly what we're answering, please?
Certainly. Describe why you think the voter turnout for tribal elections is historically low, and what strategies would you implement to improve it?
First and utmost is the fact that our government has been gerrymandering over the years, ever since the original Constitution was amended and never voted upon. Your voices, our voices as members of the tribe have not been heard. They've been behind closed doors, executive meetings between our 10 little Indians, whoever was at the time our 10 little Indians, and our voices have never been heard. True transparency comes along with accountability and being accountable for the actions that have happened over the past. And that's why we've lost the voter turnout, because people who do not vote cannot trust the fact that those things are going to come to the table to them to vote upon.
By our count, that was 4 questions, correct? District 4.
Candidates.
Oh, they're not done yet. That's just round 1. Just warming them up.
Oh, that's right.
Randomizer?
You shouldn't mix this up.
Question 5.
When the tribes purchase lands, what should be our top priorities to decide which lands to buy?
Good evening. My name is Carol Langford, and I represent the Ronan District. And say that question one more time.
When the tribes purchase lands, what should be our top priorities to decide which lands to buy?
I think all lands. This is our homeland. It's the only reservation we have. And I think so whatever we can do to purchase every inch of this place, we need to do it. Whether it's trust property, I do believe that what Tom said about land in trust, which is hard to get into trust anymore, I think we need to focus on that. But I agree that all land should be purchased.
Ron, go ahead.
Thank you for coming, everybody. I am Ron Couture. I do agree all lands, yes, eventually should be purchased, but there needs to be priorities set. You just can't go out and buy every piece of land there is. It don't happen that way. It won't happen that way. I feel, land for ranching where people can, if it'll sustain animals, farming that'll produce crops, land with good water for irrigating, for instance, hay crops, properties with homes that people can use, that people can live in, properties for home site leases. Those are some of my priorities that I think the land should be bought. We shouldn't be going out and buying every swamp available. That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Randomizer, second question.
Describe why you think the voter turnout for tribal elections is historically low, and what strategies would you implement to improve it? Ron?
I think a lot of people don't turn out to vote because a lot of people don't pay attention to the tribal elections. They don't pay attention to how important it is to have good people in these positions. A lot of them don't know what's happening with it, so they don't go vote. Or they think things don't or won't apply to them, but everything does affect them in the big picture, and it affects how the tribe operates also. So I think just people don't feel included. Their voices aren't being heard. Their votes, I don't think they feel are being heard. So that's why there's not a big turnout in our tribal elections. Thank you.
Describe why you think the voter turnout for tribal elections is historically low, and what strategies would you implement to improve it?
I think it's always been historically low, but I think there was a time when tribal government did a lot more advertising and a lot more getting the word out. And I don't think we do that anymore. This election in particular, I didn't even know when anything was happening before I could hear it on the radio or I could, see it in the Charcusta, which, sometimes I don't even pick up the Charcusta. So I think we just don't do a good enough job at getting the word out. And I don't really feel that people are disenfranchised because that means they wouldn't have an opportunity to vote. But I just think we need to do better. I also believe that even not mail-out ballots, but electronic balloting, voting by that way, might help people to vote more. But I also think absentee, just mailing out ballots, but it's people have
Thank you,
distrust
Carol.
in
That's
that.
time.
So I don't know if that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, this will go to Carol. Explain the toughest decision you've had to make in a leadership capacity, and what was the outcome?
Thank you for that question. One of the toughest decisions I believe that I've had to make was on the Salazar-Cobell payouts. And I knew at the time there was a lot of drug issues going on with people, and I was worried, sick, that if we did a huge, huge payout, that we would lose more and more people. But after it was all said and done, I was surprised that there's so many members that took responsibility and did really great things with the money that they received. And so I don't know if I was totally against now of paying out even more, but we did lose people, and I'm really saddened by that. And so every decision that the tribal council makes, you really need to make sure that, the people and how it affects them. But I'm really pleased that our membership really used it wisely in a lot of the cases.
Thank you, Carol. That's time.
No, I got it. Thank you. One of the toughest decisions I ever had to do, I was on a school board. And at one time, our budget was not going to come in the way expected. And we had to do a reduction in force. And there were a number of recommendations that came through in which positions needed to be riffed. And it was very hard. A lot of them were people I knew really well, or they were my teachers, or they were my friends' parents. And to have to make a vote like that and be part of that committee that did that, you know, their recommendations were as tough as my decision had to be. But that was my hard decision time in leadership.
And that's time. Mr. Randomizer, question 4.
What is your opinion of the current political climate?
The current political environment, and I think back to the federal government and Project 2025 and what's going on there and how it's going to impact every single person in this room. It's huge. And so that funnels down to the tribal government, which it scares me to death to think that we're going to lose a lot. And it's going to be, to me, very scary. Just to even read the document, it put fear into me, and I didn't even read it until one of my colleagues mentioned it, and I took a look at it, and I thought, you know, Medicare, education, I mean, Social Security, I mean, it's stuff that we've paid into all of our lives, and now they're going to take it and cut it. I have one tribal member that I'm working with recently that making very little now on Social Security, and how that person can make it, you know, later on down the road, I don't think it's possible. And so we need to be prepared as a government.
Right now, the political climate out there seems to be very dangerous, very scary. Not just for the people that live in Washington, D.C. or any of the other big cities around. It is funneling down to us and all reservations and tribes. Things that are going to be cut, you know, I don't know how we're going to handle it, and who knows how they're going to handle it. Those two sides can't even get along. They can't even agree what's best for their own people. And sad to say, I've heard that's what's going on here. Our 10 leaders are struggling to get along. And that is not fair to the rest of us. Not fair at all. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Mr. Randomizer, next district. Elmo candidates, please come forward. Can this be a good time to find a spot on the side?
Test, 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 test. That's it. Okay. Is it back on? Okay.
Any suggestion for wheelchair accessible? Too scary to come out. Okay. Because they tend, but I'll look over you. You got a good one? Submitted? I think so. Randomizer, question 2, thank you.
All right, Len. Question 2. Explain the toughest decision you've had to make in a leadership capacity and what was the outcome?
Kisu Kyukyu. My name is Len Two-Teeth. I represent the Elmo district. I have been on council for 3 terms. I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here tonight. This is a very important gathering for our people. So once again, thank you. One of the most difficult decisions that I've made, and we do many, there are many, and I've been thinking about this all day, was we had to make a decision to deny services to people that live off the reservation. And the outcome of that was we had an in-depth discussion within us, realizing that these resources belong to all of the members. And we need to start looking at changing the policies to make sure that we are being able to provide
Thank you, Lynn. That's time.
assistance to our people living off the reservation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zachary Joseph McDougall. The toughest decision I had to make as leadership is being sober amongst associates, friends, and family. And the outcome of me being sober encourages my people to follow the path of sobriety. Thank you.
The randomizer, next question. Question 8.
Question 8, a new question. This is a good one. We'll start with you, Sakali. What is your vision for cultural and language revitalization over the next 4 years?
Consistency.
Thank you for the question. You know, being on council, what I realized is that being a teacher and a student of our language program is the most complex job within our whole organization. I feel that it's very imperative that we as leaders, that we need to stay focused on what our strategic plan is in our revitalization and make sure that we have a clear understanding of where we are going and where we need to be, and making sure that our students are getting the right resources that they need. And what I mean by that is paying our students that are in the program now a livable wage. Because recruiting students in our language program has been one of the biggest challenges that we've had and trying to retain them. Thank you.
Back with you, Len. Why are you the best choice for your district?
Always a tough question. I feel that I'm the best choice for our district is because of the tenure that I've had on council thus far. I have learned, I have vast knowledge of all of the tribal resources. I am familiar with our tribal organization. I am familiar with our staff people who provide these services to the membership, so I can help them direct to the right staff people to get the services that they need. So, thank you.
The people of Elmo gave me all kinds of hope, and I'd like to give some of that back. That's why I think I'll be the best choice for Elmo.
Question 4, Mr. Randomizer. 6.
And back to you, Sakali. What is your opinion of the current political climate?
I am not well versed in the political climate, so I have no opinion.
You're perfect for the job then.
Thank you for the question. The current the national climate is chaotic. Chaotic and dangerous to say the least. We are dealing with an administration right now that feels that they are above us. And it's really difficult to try to sit at the table with these people knowing what their mindset is. Many of these people that are sitting on the Republican administration are twisted. They're twisted, and you're never going to change their minds. So it's very critical that we have a strong leader within our tribes to making sure that we know what we're up against. Thank you.
Candidates. Next district. District 1. Will our Lee candidates please come down?
Will the Jocko candidates please come down?
Jocko candidates, that's what I said.
And we just wanted to mention that we did have services within the Kootenai community today. Junior Kai did want to be here, but unfortunately he was detained doing other things for our community, so we wanted to let the people know.
Who's going to be sitting? We're ready.
Question 2.
All right. Greg, explain the toughest decision you've had to make in a leadership capacity, and what was the outcome? Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Again, thank you for everybody being here tonight. As you know, my campaign slogan is Catch the Spirit. And everybody here has caught the spirit, otherwise you wouldn't be here. A lot of people who aren't here and the people who aren't watching online, we need to catch the spirit. We need to come together as people. The toughest decision that I had to make as a leader was in my role at S&K Technologies. We had grown the company from nothing into one of the largest in the nation in Indian country. I was told to stop growing the company because we were getting too big. I had a moral obligation, a fiduciary obligation to the membership and to the tribal council to keep growing the company. So I had one choice. I made a deal with them, and I had to resign in order to keep growing the company. So I sacrificed myself for that.
Time's up.
Jimmy? Sure. Explain the toughest decision you've ever had to make in a leadership capacity, and what was the outcome?
Good evening. My name is Jim Molitor. I'm a council person representative for the Arley district now, and toughest decision I've ever made. I made a bunch of them here. There's some of them here on council capacity, but in my work capacity as in the time before getting on council, I worked as in the field of construction, more building a lot of different things, and toughest decision I had to make was to go from Seattle and ride the barges up to the pipelines up in Alaska, and it was really rough because I was having to leave my family, having to stay up there in Alaska for a while, and it's just
thank you, Jimmy.
That kind
Time's
of thing
up.
to me was some of the toughest decisions I've ever made. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vance Homegun. It's really nice to see you guys here this evening. Probably the toughest decision for me, and I believe I'm still making that decision daily. About 21 years ago, we had a tribal leaders meeting here at CSKT, and I was paired with Wilma Mankiller of the Cherokee Nation, and she challenged me to learn my language so that it'll benefit the future generations of the tribes as far as identity goes. And I made that decision, and I became highly proficient in our language, which I'm thankful for, and I continue to teach it to this day.
Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here tonight. My name is Joe Pablo. I'm also running with the Arley District. The hardest decision that in a leadership position is always employment. When you get to a point where you can't keep everybody on, something's happening, the hardest part is letting somebody go and knowing they have families, they have kids, they have people to depend on. And that's always a hard part to do, to look somebody in the eye and sit them down and say, I'm sorry, but your service will no longer be needed here. And doing that is always heartbreaking.
Hello, my name is Kanan Monroe. I'm from Arley. I appreciate all your time. I would have to say it would just be training fighters and making a decision to whether or not to let them keep going on for the benefit of their health and the decision to not let them fight for their health so that they could stay healthy was one of the toughest decisions, and that's as pure and raw as I can get. Thank you very much.
Question 4.
Jim, question 4. What is your opinion of the tribe's hiring practices? What is your opinion of the tribe's hiring practices?
Well, you know, thinking about what's been happening here in the past, I think that we need to take a real good look at some of the hiring practices because of the Indian preference. It seems like every time there's a job going on that we look at and go to see, there's hardly ever any Indian people working on it, and we've questioned it, and it's still the same. We need to look at that. We need to get these people, our people, working in these jobs that are going on in this reservation.
I'm going to echo what some of the other candidates mentioned. I firmly believe that as far as hiring preference goes, it should be tribal members first, without a doubt. And I do want to echo also, working in the tribes these past several years, that we do have the ability to train tribal members regardless of certain education experiences. And some professions obviously do require higher ed, and I fully support that we get them trained in any capacity possible.
I agree with what they're saying, but part of the problem that I see is we hire somebody, we get them into a position and find out 6 months into the program that they're not getting it. They're not understanding what their job is, but we keep them in that position longer than we should. So there should be a period where we could remove someone and get somebody else in there. Just because you hired somebody to do a job doesn't necessarily mean that they should be in there for whatever term it is. And the other part is I've applied for jobs. I have a lot of training. I've been in security for the last 25 years. I've had a lot of training and trying to get back on with it with the tribe and seeing favoritism. I've seen kids that are 20 years old getting a job where, I mean, they don't have the qualifications that I have or other people have. So I think favoritism needs to be dealt with as well.
I think the real question is, what are we doing to foster entrepreneurship among our people? With the inflation rate and the interest rate outpacing the real wage, it's hard to justify working a job. It's like trying to stay above water every day. And I believe that entrepreneurship among our people is the real answer.
I think the question that is in back of everybody's mind is not policy, it's practice. That's what the question is about, our hiring practice. Do we really believe that our hiring practices, not our policy, but our practices are fair and above board and in accordance with policy? That's the real question. When we hire people, we need to be able to support them through a workforce development plan. I don't know of any organization that has 1,400 employees that doesn't have a workforce development plan. We don't have a workforce development plan. The issue of fairness for those people who are not hired, I can point myself out as an example. I applied between 2012 and 2022 for about 12 positions. I didn't get hired for any. I've been a department head since I was 26.
Thank you, candidate. Your time is up.
With Vance, why are you the best choice for your district?
Oh. I'm young. You know, I know change is difficult for a lot of people. Whether you're young or old, change is difficult. But when you study history, we come to find out in studying leadership that change often occurs when younger people are put into leadership. And I understand that that's difficult for a lot of people, but if we're to move forward in a positive way, and like Tom mentioned, looking at those next generations to come, because we're Indian people, or CSKT, that's what we got to do. I really believe that I have a knowledge of social media, I have a knowledge of technology, and that's the way of the future now.
I agree with him on having young people, but also having somebody different. You know, how many times have we gone to an election year and we have the same people in over and over? So getting new blood, new ideas in, I think will do a lot for change and for growth for the tribe and for our people.
What was the question?
Why are you the best choice for your district?
I just want to preserve and protect what we have as far as our rights, resources, and I have a real plan for change, you know, like Vance said, using social media and technology. Each individual member can engage in entrepreneurship. Thank you.
I believe that if you have the ability to be able to help as a tribal person, you need to do that. So my commitment to each one of you is to work as hard as has ever happened from a councilman. I've been in leadership positions for most of my life. I have gained the support of many tribes nationwide, elected the national chairman of the Native American Contractors Association. So I have proven leadership and proven capabilities, but I love you. And I'm going to put that to work as hard as can be possibly done. District meetings every month. Communication, visibility, accountability, those are the things that I can do. Those are things I've done all my life. And that's what I want to bring to each one of you, because I love you. You're my tribal people.
Yeah, I think about all the things that in my life where I've thought about where I've always wanted to be a leader. You know, in half of my life that I've been here, I've always helped everybody that I can in the Jocko Valley. I was a welder for a lot of years, so I've fixed a lot of things for people. I've done a lot of things that just help, everyday help that you can help them. I helped these woodworkers for years, keep their trucks going, just for to be able to help them get the money they need to make for their family. And I've done a lot of that for a lot of years, and I continue to do that. I love to help anybody on this reservation, and doing the job I do now. I take a lot of pride in that. I make sure that it's the right thing to do in my mind to help.
Thank you, Canada.
Help our people, and our
That's
people
time,
are
Jimmy.
family. Everybody here is family, so we gotta, every one of us, no matter what we do, we need to help.
Thank you, Jim. And we're going to start with Joe on this fourth question. And it was number 1, correct? Okay. It's a new question. If elected, what is one change you would make, and how would you make that change?
Wow. People talk about being transparent, but I think I would really make an effort, put everything out, have open doors, people can come in, and honestly, just be open-minded to everybody. You see people, I hear people talking with people, and they feel like they're excluded, they feel like they can't approach people, and that should be one of the things where you should be able to come in and talk with the tribal council. I was at Job Corps for quite a few years, and my boss out there, the door open to everybody, and that's kind of a process that I would like to emulate and be available to everybody.
What was the question?
If elected, what is one change you would make, and how would you make that change?
Just like Joe said here about being transparent, trying to change the paternal relationship that the government has with the people, and so that we could be included and seen more.
You know, it's almost a trick question, because as one member of a 10-member council, you can't make change, right? But what you can do as an individual councilman in your approach to the job is you can do a lot. We're supposed to be representatives of you as the people. That means that we need to get out there and talk to you as the people. We need to have regular meetings. These types of things that we're doing once every 2 years or 4 years should be commonplace. The job of a councilman should be to bring people together, to be able to bring each other together on the council at the same time. So the approach that I would take is one that comes from the heart, and one that goes directly to you as a people to represent you, and to work with other councilmen to pull together for you, the people. That's what our job is. That's what our job is.
The question is, if elected, what is one change you would make, and how would you make that change?
Yeah, I think listening to everybody here, I think the thing is the changes that have to be made, I think are just like you said, it has to be by, you can't do it individually. We try to make changes every day. We try to work on different issues every day as a group, as 10 council people. That's the only way you can make a change, if you're going to make a change. If you're going to make an individual change, it's just something that you have to do in your own heart, your own mind. I don't think I would try to do an individual change to represent the tribe. I'd like to represent everyone in a very good way, and I just can't see making a change to do that.
I'd have to say that change is not so much change, but more what could we create. And creating that gap, that bridge between our elders and our young people, that generational cohesion is an important part of our people. It's a very traditional method. And if young people are not connected to the elders in our tribe, we're missing it there. And being a person of leadership elected in this position, it's our duty to ensure that we create those opportunities between young and old and everyone in between. And so whether it comes to our natural resources, our finance, whatever it might be, we have to ensure that that's there. And of course, accountability and transparency. That's the most thing I've got asked so far running for council is, can you be more transparent with the people?
Thank you, candidates. That concludes your 4 questions. And Polson candidates, if you could come forward. Question 5, when you're all settled.
Question 5, we'll start with Jennifer. When the tribes purchase lands, what should be our top priorities to decide which lands to buy?
Our top priority should be lands that we have a plan for. Right now, CSKT is the second largest taxpayer in Lake County because sometimes we acquire lands and we don't have an exact plan for how we're going to use that, what the purpose of that will be. So I think having a more well thought out plan of, is this going to be a home site? Is this going to be used to protect wildlife and habitat? Is this going to be used to make money? And if so, how are we going to do that? We have to have a more streamlined plan of how we acquire land, a streamlined vetted process, and be consistent with that. That's how we should acquire land that we have a plan for, a planned use for every piece of property that we acquire. My name is Jennifer Finley, by the way.
Hi, my name is Jamie Pluff, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I handed out some information packets. I have 4 left over there. I only brought 30, but it has all 8 of the questions that were asked since we only get to answer 4. And I have some attachments on that kind of backs up some of the things that I'm saying in my answers. Thank you to the CSKT Get Out the Vote group for doing this, and especially big thanks to the voters that are here to listen to us say why we're the best candidate. The reason I took so long on that is because my question is easy on land. We need to get all trust and fee land that will allow us to gain ownership and control of all of the land in our reservation. I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to see the maps where
Thank you, Jamie. That's time.
To be yellow, but it's really turning green.
Is it on? Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Jolene Gochi. I have been here for quite a while, living in Polson. The number 5 question on the land is, my idea or my thoughts are, if the land opportunity needs to be evaluated carefully for how it will benefit our people, not just buying land, but how is it going to benefit? Some land could be used for housing, homes for tribal members to buy or even lease, because housing is a tough one right now. Other lands could be supported by business development or conservation. The priority should always be what strengthens our sovereignty and serves our people for long term.
I knew there was a catch. I'm Jim Steele Sr., and I appreciate you all being here, and this has been a while since I've done this before. Somebody asked me, didn't you do this before? I said, yeah, but it was so much fun. Anyway, I'm here to make a presentation, and basically I can only discuss those things that I have in my tool chest that I developed in those days when I was on the council in the 80s. I have a lot to share, and I hope you can appreciate it. The question was?
The tribes purchase lands. What should be our top priorities to decide which lands to buy?
We buy all of it. In the 80s, we only owned 40% of our own reservation. We own more of that now, and it's increasing. I believe that if a parcel of land comes up, as we examine it, its use, purchase it. We used to squeeze them out. We'd buy around these fee pieces. Pretty soon they'd get tired of it and they'd sell to us. Whatever. I mean, that's what it was, and it worked. Thank you.
Question?
Question 4, and we're going to start with Jamie. What is your opinion of the tribe's hiring practices?
I think that there needs to be some change. As a lot of the candidates have already said, it needs to be tribal members first, and that doesn't happen in a lot of cases. right now I know that we have some non-members in a lot of our top executive positions. There was a reorganization that was developed and approved in 2022, and in that there was something that was called Contract Approval Authority. What that allows is that executive directors can approve contracts, and that it includes employment contracts at $50K or below, and the executive officer can approve contracts, including employment contracts, that are $250K and below. I think that the resolution that the tribes had to facilitate the right to earn opportunity or jobs for everyone who wants one. This was
Thank
a
you, candidate.
resolution.
That's time. That's time.
Okay, like Greg said before, it's practices, not policies. I believe our hiring process could move a little faster. Delaying in filling positions can slow down service for our people. We need to streamline communications and improve coordination between the departments so qualified applicants can get hired and start contributing sooner.
Get quick. One of the things that I witnessed working with all of these other tribes, there was one tribe that I worked for on the coast, the Quinault tribe. When I was there working for them, they had a practice. They would hire these professionals in a particular science. They would demand, and in fact, they would make them sign a contract that in 5 years or less, you will mentor one of our tribal members. You will ensure that they get the training that they need. You are going to be working yourself out of a job, and you have a maximum of 5 years to do that. And if they fail to do it, they would find someone else to replace them. I haven't checked lately. I'm going to do that, even whether I'm elected or not. I want to find out what happened with that, because it worked. It was working, and they honored it. So that's all I have. I think we need to do something similar. Thank you.
On. I am a huge proponent of Indian preference hiring. We have some excellent non-members who work for CSKT and provide great services, but it's important that we hire as many of our people as possible. I called for a vote at Tribal Council about for more transparency about our hires to ensure fairness. I called for a vote to have Tribal Council review and approve all hiring of non-member contracts, and I was outvoted. But tribal member preference hiring is extremely important to me. We need more apprenticeship programs, and we need to designate someone who can be a hub for internships within and outside CSKT. We also need to put more money into supporting students who choose the trades, which are in extreme high demand right now. Lemlemsh.
All right, and this one will begin with Jolene, correct? Okay. Question 7. Why are you the best choice for your district?
Okay. Oh, that is a tough one. I believe that I'm the best choice because I bring heart, common sense, and experience. I've worked in many areas in the tribal government throughout my years, and I've also run and operated my own business, which is still up and running. And I understand how things, excuse me, operate. I'm a listener, I'm a doer, and I truly care about our people. My goal is to serve with integrity and work for the good of all the generations.
I'm outnumbered. You know, I have a lot to bring to the table, and some of those things I've learned through the process. I've worked with many tribes. I've experienced a lot of things. I've seen the pluses and the minuses that tribes had to deal with nationally, locally, and tribally. And we have those same issues that we have to deal with. I really believe that I can bring that experience, having worked nationally all over the country and represented the tribes in those areas. I really believe I can offer that, so I think in that sense I would be probably the best choice. I hate saying that, but anyway, thank you.
I cared about social justice and helping people and uplifting people long before I got on tribal council. I'm a former English teacher. When my kids were little, I worked as a Sunday school teacher. I've done lots of volunteer work of all sorts in my community and throughout the state of Montana. I understand our unique tribal organization. I've worked in our organization. I've been a supervisor. I've hired people and I fired people following all of our policies to the T. And Teresa Wall McDonald taught me that. She was my supervisor one time. Best boss I ever had. I'm a good listener. I can listen to people without interrupting, and I really think about what people say and I take it to heart. And I do not look down on anybody. And I am direct and assertive. I can say hard things in order to advocate for what is right and what is fair. I'm the regional vice president for the National Congress of American Indians for the Rocky Mountain region. I'm the vice chair of the STED Commission, and I'm working on Red Shield 8, an organization to make a regional treatment facility for natives in Montana. And I ask for your support to continue that work.
You reread the question.
Why are you the best choice for your district?
I believe that my previous tenure on council has proven my leadership and also my commitment to our community. During that time, I served as vice chair for 6 years. I gained a lot of valuable experience. I stayed informed on key issues and made difficult decisions that leadership requires. Those who knew me then can confirm that I remained grounded and focused on serving and not letting the position change who I am. I'm sorry, I'm reading because I hope it's faster, but it's not. I feel like I am a good person. I'm genuine, trustworthy, and consistent in my values, and I will lead with empathy, and I'll always be fair. I want to foster relationships within the tribal council. I want to engage our employees more and collaborate with organizations that respect and support our tribal communities. I think that I am assertive enough, though, to speak up.
Thank you, candidate. That's time.
This one, I believe we're starting with Jim. Question 1, if elected, what is one change you would make, and how would you make that change?
Can you hear me? Is this on? One of the things that I witnessed, I spent a little time as Sergeant at Arms. I can't decide how to retire, so I decided I would do some other things. One of the things that I witnessed, and it was mentioned up here, is that there's some dissension in the council. There needs to be, and in the 80s, let me tell you, this worked. If we recognize dissension between any member, we would kick everybody out of the room. The council alone would sit there, and they would, if so-and-so had something to say, you say it. They cussed, they did whatever they had to do to get it off their chest, and then they went, and when we got it off their chest, we reconvened in the meeting, and we done the people's work. And it worked. I think that needs to start again. Thank you.
Jennifer?
One thing I want to push for, if I am lucky enough to get reelected to represent CSKT, is pushing for a property management division within our tribe. We have too many tribal members who can't afford housing. There's another tribe that I met where they developed tribal subdivisions. They created these beautiful homes. People got pre-qualified for the loans, and then they bought the homes. The tribes fronted the money. The tribes didn't make any money off of it. All they did was create dignified, affordable housing in their community. And we need to create a property management division to manage that, and also to acquire commercial properties that we can make money off of, to provide more services for our people. Lem Lemsch.
I know that change is never easy. It happened in 2022, but I think that reorganization needs to happen again. But in 2021 and 22, the tribal-wide reorganization had no input from department heads or employees, and there was a lot of changes that were made, and the reason was to allow the tribal council the ability and time to do their job. We're elected to do our job. In my opinion, that reorganization hasn't been effective. Tribal council representatives are elected to be the decision makers, not give that authority to executive officers or executive directors. It didn't allow department heads, doesn't allow department heads to do their job effectively and efficiently either. And I think that the tribal council needs to strategize and make needed changes by creating an organizational structure that includes our tribe's cultural values, strength, transparency, and effective communication with our employees.
Thank you, candidate. That's time.
Thank you.
This was a tough one because I know and understand that it takes more than one person to make any change with the tribe, especially if you're on council. But if I was elected, I want to strengthen our support for our elders. They've built the foundation that we all stand on, and I believe they deserve more respect, active engagement, and constant communication. I'd work closely with our elders program to identify needs, improve services, and secure the elders feel, value, and heard in every decision we make. It's important to keep our elders informed with things. And I think, again, that's another reason why voting is hard. But thank you.
Thank you, candidates. I will ask you all to stay put. We're going to move into supplemental questions. And I think we have, are we on track? Did I skip somebody?
No.
Okay.
No.
So,
I need to stand up.
supplemental question number 6, starting with Jen. With you. Okay. And that question is?
What are the 3 most important issues to you?
The 3 most important issues to me would be 1, personal health and well-being, mental health. Montana has the highest suicide rate in the country, and typically on reservations, the suicide rate is 4 times higher than that. So as much as we can double down on wellness and mental health in our community, we need to do that. And secondly would be protecting our land. The only reason we're here is because people before us protected it. And the third thing is housing. Every tribal member deserves dignified housing. Before colonization, no tribal members were without housing. Lem Lemsch.
Thank you. First of all, to listen to the people. Second of all, a transparent government. And third of all, to implement and review the tribal priority resolutions that were enacted in 2021 and 2022. Only a couple of those, like homelessness and food sovereignty, are being followed, but mental health, substance abuse, some others are not. Like I said, the one that I was talking about, to make sure that every tribal member has a job and a job opportunity, has not been followed. There's priority resolutions that were set. They haven't been reviewed. They haven't been updated. And I think that it's time to hold some people accountable and get those done, because a lot of stuff could happen if we would just follow those resolutions.
Okay, I think that education is one of our really important things, especially for our younger people coming up in this world. We're going to have to depend on the younger people very soon. So education is one of the important ones for me. Housing, of course, is always an important thing, and also the food. I'm really worried about the people that are on SNAP programs, people that are on government programs trying to survive. It's not going to happen pretty soon, and we've got to take care of it somehow. Thank you.
First of all, we got to come together as a body. A body can't make a decision. An individual, as stated, can't make a decision. You got to come together as a body. You got to recognize the threat that we're under right now, nationally and locally and statewide. We have to make sure that we as a government comes together on that. Second of all, we got to have a person on the council, or one or more people that know how to get that point across, and to advocate for whatever we as a body choose to do. I mean, we're in a battle. You got to get. We're losing. I was just talking with my wife earlier. We're losing on a lot of programs because of these guys. And most of all, the culture and the language. I think we need to open that door continually and encourage people to get involved. Thank you. I'm being given.
Thank you, candidates. We're just going to have everyone stay where they are, and Erica's going to be moving the microphone around for the rest of the answers to these questions.
Okay, so we'll start with you, and you can come out here if you'd like. Same question, yep, if you want, just so that the live stream can see you.
Do you need the question read again?
The three most? Okay. Three most important issues, I believe. Oh, on the X? You all have to do this too, okay? Three most important issues, land and water, culture and language revitalization, and I would have to say healthy lifestyle. I've lived drug and alcohol free my entire life, and I want to be that example continuously for future generations. I've learned our language because if I advocate for it, I better be doing it right. And I try to drink a lot of water. And of course, land and water, that's going to be our #1 issue for the rest of our history. And we have to secure this reservation. We have to secure these water rights. It's imperative. The fight continues.
Wow, this is unexpected. But anyway, thank you for the question. You know, trying to determine the 3 top priorities is really dependent on what's going on in our society today. And you know, right now, one of our biggest challenges is dealing with drug addiction. Trying to get our people healthy again. Trying to help them raise their families. And but I believe that should be one of our top priorities, is how are we going to do that? And issue #2, I believe, is assuring that we are providing resources to all of our members equally and fairly. And issue #3 is land acquisition. We need to focus on getting that map entirely green. So, thank you.
Hello again. I think that the 3 most important things to me, the greatest thing that we need to do as a tribe is to get our land back. I mean, we're trying that. We're trying to buy that for a long time now, and we're getting there a little at a time. But it's really important that we get that back for our people. I think that's the #1 priority. Our second, as it was mentioned here a while ago about on our tribe, that our housing issue, everybody should be in a home. That's not happening, and I don't know where we begin to fix that. I mean, it's people that are even today, people are living in little trailers or living wherever they can because they can't get into this housing. That's the second thing I think we need to fix. The third thing was mentioned again was the health issues. I mean, everybody, especially as we get older, we all get health issues, and we need to be able
Thank
to
you, Jimmy. That's time.
have health, tribal health, to take, to handle these issues
That's
or
time.
help us handle these issues.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Jim. We hear you.
Lem Special, I'm glad that you're all still here. It shows attentiveness, how important these things are to you, how important they are to me. Healthcare, housing, those are the top two in my thing. But above all is our elders. Without our elders, we don't have ourselves. And a lot of the other things that have been mentioned are just as important. But as I've gone around the reservation with my logo change, community, healthcare, accountability, natural resources, gaming, enrollment.
The three important things would be, one, language that presently started working at in COSUM, and seeing the young kids out there learning it. I mean, that's really inspiring. That's something that really needs to be kept, and a connection with our youth and with our elders. I mean, that's a bridge that needs to be gapped. I think we all agree on that. The other thing is economic expansion. More than relying on the casinos, we need to expand on other businesses, making ourselves more self-sufficient. And then the other one for me is the drugs and alcohol program on this reservation. I mean, we can all agree it's out of hand. For me, my simple resolution for that is everybody knows who's using, everybody knows who's selling. We know our moms, dads, brothers, sisters, we know who's using. We got to make that tough choice and make that call and turn it in. Thank you.
One minute is not enough time for me to say what I want to say, but what I think I need to say is that, AI has created 500 billionaires since its inception, and I think that's something we need to latch onto and include in entrepreneurship. And I think we need to revitalize our language and culture. However that needs to happen, And I think we need to concentrate on coming together as a people and stop any divide. Thank you.
Number one, opportunity. Number two, opportunity. Number three, opportunity. Okay, we need opportunities in three areas. Those three areas beginning first with who we are as people. We need more opportunities as tribal people to be able to learn those things that were left for us. Since the 1970s, those things have been captured, have been recorded diligently by a lot of our elders at the culture committees. That wealth of knowledge needs to be shared with us as a people. We need to have access to it. A lot of those people that left that information are our own family members. So we need to have opportunities to connect. We need to focus on that if we care about who we are as a people. Why that is somehow in the back, I don't understand. Why people get shamed for trying to learn or for asking questions, I don't understand. The other two opportunities.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out. All of this is lip service. You need new leaders. I don't mean to sound all arrogant and everything, but believe you me, we've been there, done it. There won't be any changes until we follow what the other tribes are doing. We have to stop allowing cultural appropriation to take us over. Teresa Wall McDonald, you're a beautiful woman. Your husband's a perfect man. But let me tell you something. You guys are so disconnected from what it's going to take for us to live on into the future. I wish you would just step back and allow us to step forward and say what really needs to happen within this tribal organization. All of this stuff that we are saying right now has already been said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. If we don't revise our Constitution and bring Salish and Kootenai equally to the table to determine their own futures, nothing's going to happen. There's always going to be people in control over the rest of us, and we won't see anything come to fruition for our tribal people. Change your government. Change your Constitution.
Number one is the people. That's the most important. And the second is the land to preserve. And third is the education to keep up with time. Thank you.
If I stand on the X, do I get to spin the wheel? I'm going to wear my hat because that's one of my top things. So what's most important for me, the top priorities, is defending our treaty and making sure Washington, D.C. knows that they have an obligation with us with our treaty. The highest law of the land is the treaties. And to allow them to not recognize and honor our treaty and provide everything that we signed on for, that our elders did for us, that's imperative. That's number one thing. Number two is economic equalization for our membership. Jobs. A lot of things that we have, a lot of trouble we have is simply because we don't have the same economic power, we don't have the same job opportunities. And how do we do that? We provide for, again, workforce development, we try education, we try to do the best we can to make sure that our people have the economic ability to succeed and provide for their families. And that's success. That's a priority for me in defending our treaty. And I'll leave it at that.
Hello? Okay, top three things that's important to me. Taking care of our children, making sure we have a future, boosting the language and culture. And we need to focus on health, because if we're not healthy and living long lives, you know, I think we really need to do that for our people. Provide opportunities, yes, but make sure we have fitness centers, gyms, and things for the community to do, both young and old. But definitely the kids, got to focus on the kids. And in the home, language and culture, opportunities for language and culture for the whole membership, the employees, and give the employees, you know, some time. Thank you again for coming here and still being here. I wish I could come up with 3 different things that really make me stand out, but what I think of is equal opportunity for employment for everybody, young and old. Our health care and our housing. We have a lot of people around here without housing, and we need to find that for them. I know they come forward everywhere. They don't want to say so, but they come forward and they ask. We need to do that for them. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. Number 1 priority is answer the phone. Number 2 priority, answer the phone. Number 3, answer the damn phone. We don't call the complex because of our good looks. Most of us have needs, and you should never have to call a council member to say, you know, I need to get a hold of this person. Can you call them and have them call me back? And I can't tell you how many times that's happened. But with that being said, we have a lot of good people that answer the phone every single day. But the people that don't really give us a bad name. And what if the president was calling to tell us we're done for? We wouldn't get the phone call. But anyway, thank you.
Carol, why don't you stay there? We're going to go back around with a new question. So supplemental question, please. Number 5.
Number 5. Okay. What are 3 characteristics required to be an excellent council representative?
First of all, respond to the membership. Give them a call back. I do that consistently the best I can. Have I dropped the ball? Absolutely. And when I do realize I've dropped the ball, I definitely make sure I call them back and I apologize and then get the job done. That's been kind of my forte, is to make sure I am doing that part especially. What was the question?
Characteristics required to be an excellent council representative.
And I think honesty and integrity is another part of it, and being there, being present as much as possible.
I think council members need to be transparent. They need to be able to share, want to share, whatever is going on the table, under the table, behind the closed doors. Transparency. Honesty. People want honesty out there. Share with people. And accountability. If something is not being done right somewhere and you know that and you see it, let's make somebody accountable, but then also be accountable themselves. Thank you.
I think we need people that aren't afraid to stand up for the people and fight for the youth and our elders and our employees. We need to take care of the land, make sure it lasts forever. We need to have a membership that lasts forever. Our families make up our tribe. Uki as kalsa. And I'll stand up for the people, to whoever, because the future's now. And yeah, we do have to clean the water. And we need to stand up to our neighbors and say this is who we are. And be unapologetic about it, because we're going to be here forever.
Well, I agree with everybody that's spoken so far. Integrity is really critical, but being able to listen, and then also be able to make, have your due diligence to research, understand the subject matter, make sure you understand as much as you can about a decision that you need to make, because it's a critical decision. Usually it's something that lasts forever. So that's really critical for me as far as doing my research and making sure that I try to know as much as I can about a topic. And I think, as I think Jesse said it really well, standing up and speaking, you know, being able to be the voice for the voiceless. Speak up for those animals and those living beings that don't have the chance to do that. I spent most of my career fighting for fish, fighting for wildlife, fighting for our treaty rights, and being able to speak up for that and have an open debate and defend that in court and with public presentations like this. Thank you.
I'm sorry my last comment made you all clutch your pearls. That old-fashioned expression. Truly, though, you guys, we really have to understand that being nice, doing what's always been done, it's only going to get us what we've always got. You know that expression as well. We have to do something new. We have to do something different. We have to take our tribal organization on a different course. There isn't anything wrong with having Salish and Kootenai have 2 electorates to where I don't want anybody deciding anything for my Kootenai people if they're not Kootenai, just as I don't want to decide anything for Salish people. I have some Salish in me, but I was cultured Kootenai, and I'm not afraid to say it. I know where I'm going when I'm going to be buried, and all of you know. So you know who you are. Stand up for your people. Don't be afraid to tackle the tough issues. We can't have any more passive little, oh, I don't want to go in here because it's going to make people uncomfortable. We have to speak our mind, even when the issues are uncomfortable. We have to take this organization on a new course.
Well, last time up, I did a miserable job trying to describe 3 things in 60 seconds, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better. 3 characteristics. 1, heart, to care for people, to care for each other. 2, the ears, to be able to listen to, hear what the complaint is, what the problem is, also what they might not be saying but are still trying to express. 3, the vision and the backbone to be able to stand up for that person, to be able to advocate for them, and to be able to press on so that by the end of the day, they feel that someone cared for them, someone heard for them, and someone is working for them.
Integrity and being available. And honesty.
I think we need to have the ability to engage each other, and then to listen to each other, and then to take action on those concerns that we have. Thank you.
Well, like everybody said, integrity, treating people with, doing the right thing, even when no one's looking, that's one thing. But what I didn't hear anybody say is treat our people with respect. Treat them with respect like they're your equal. Just because you're on council or you're in a position of authority, it doesn't give you the right to look down on anybody. So for me, treating people with respect and honesty is probably the 2 things I come up with. Third is whatever. Thank you.
Three things. First and foremost, in the Barnaby home, respect for one another. Respect each other's opinion. Secondly, integrity, honesty. Having that transparency from the receiver to the sender and the sender to the receiver. And service. Service to the membership. Being that voice that I've always been on social media and at quarterlies for members who have come up to me and thanked me for being that voice for you, for our membership. Those are the 3 most important things that we need in leadership. Thank you.
Well, I like all these answers. This is really good answers to these questions. And one of the things I think that I really think that we need to do, and as a council member, is there's a lot of times when our tribal membership have issues with their homes, broken pipes, electrical problems, things like that. and we take a long time to get these kind of things fixed. We need to, in the wintertime, we need to get these people back where they belong, where they're able to take care of their family, take care of their children. And water issues, anything like that is a real hindrance to people. But those are the kind of things I think we need to do. We need to have the heart to help our membership, no matter what it is. They need to get through these months and without struggling. You know, if they can't afford to fix it, this tribe needs help and fix it, no matter what it is. We got to keep their livelihood. We got to keep keep them together so they can
That's
take
time,
their
candidate.
families.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. The three characteristics of a good leader, there's actually many, but ones that come to mind is respect for our membership. Never talk down to our membership, never argue with them. You're there to listen. Characteristic number 2 is integrity. Integrity. We, as leaders, represent you all. It's very important that when we are out there, that we carry ourselves tall. Characteristic number 3 is always having that mindset that we work for the people, we work for the membership. Never forget why we are in that office. Thank you.
You need to be able to lead by example. Don't be hypocritical. Practice what you preach. I really believe that council people, we're in a position of leadership. We need to be able to go the extra mile. That includes weekends, that includes evenings. We also need to be knowledgeable in a lot of areas too. Not an expert, but we need to be knowledgeable, especially in our treaty, in history. We need to know these things because it brings us from the federal to the state to the local, everyone in between. And I know people said we need to be good listeners, but man, we need to be good speakers. We need to be able to defend our people, and we need to be able to get the point across so that they know where we stand.
A lot of things have been said here. One of the things that's most important of all, at the time I served, we didn't have cell phones. We had calling cards. I'd meet with people at the restaurant in RLA. We would go to the phone. We'd use the calling card. I'd make calls for them, and I'd always be available. If I could get the answer for them, I'd get it to them. If it was an answer they didn't want, I would tell them that. But we wouldn't stop there. We would go find out what we could about that particular issue. Integrity, and above all, sobriety is the most critical part of being a tribal council member. And if you conduct yourself accordingly, we represent you if we're elected to that position. How we conduct ourselves is a direct reflection on you folks. So we dang well better behave. So thank you.
I think that the three important things for people to remember, especially our tribal council. Okay, sorry. Definitely having your ears open, being available for people to talk to you and explain what their problems or their issues are. Being able to take it back to council and visit with all of the council about what's going on. But also the education to know the treaties, to know all the history and the background where we come from, and to be able to stand tall for that.
I think that you need to be a genuine and approachable person, and that means that you have respect for the person that's asking you questions, that you're willing to listen to them and be empathetic to their needs, and that you follow through with what you say you're going to do. You need to be, as everybody said, have integrity. That means advocating for a transparent government and accountability and holding people to that, not just saying it. You have to be assertive and outspoken, and stand against those in the state, local, and federal government that are threatening our tribe's rights. I think that you need to be able to build relationships, foster relationships within the tribal council, because we all have to work together. It doesn't help when we're not getting along. And also including employee engagement. In that, you have to have a buy-in from everybody.
This type of leadership is different than any other kind of leadership. Because if you're the governor of Montana, you're not responsible for the survival of your people. And in this kind of a position, we are responsible for the survival of our people. We have a generational responsibility. First of all, you have to have a heart of service. You have to have a heart to serve people, to help people, to uplift people. That's first and foremost. Secondly, you have to be well informed. I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Missoulian, and I read our tribal newspaper. Plus, I support ProPublica and NPR. I am very well informed. I read the news and I listen to the news every day about anything that could possibly be relevant to CSKT. Third is you have to lead a balanced life. I am a giver, I am a helper, but I also just started running again. I'm up to 2.5 miles almost every day. I'm a former yoga teacher. You can't give everything away. You have to do things that make your heart strong so you have the heart to help other people. Lem Lemsh.
Thank you, candidates, everyone, for your thoughtful answers and input. I'm going to turn this back over to our Master of Ceremonies, and I want to thank the audience for coming out and helping make this, I hope, a very successful event. And remember, this will be online, posted on the Get Out the Vote, CSKT Get Out the Vote Facebook page, so it can be viewed in the future.
There we go. I'm on now. That was a lot of information to take in. So can we get a round of applause for our candidates? Thank you to the moderators, timekeepers, Erica hiding out back here, but she did a wonderful job setting this up, so thank you guys. For more information on the candidates, make sure to check out the Charcusta this week. There will be some bios in there. If you guys are unable to vote on Saturday, please stop in and vote absentee tomorrow. You are able to vote from 7:30 till 5 o'clock tomorrow over at the Tribal Complex. We have absentee ballot request forms out on the table here. You guys are welcome to grab one on your way out. Everybody else, you guys please make sure to vote on Election Day. Polls are open this Saturday, October 11th from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 p.m. If you guys want to volunteer, need a ride to the polls, have questions, Erica Shelby is setting up rides to the polls. I'm going to give her number twice here, but it's 406-240-8229. Again, you can call Erica for a ride at 406-240-8229. Oh, no, I thought you were saying something to me back there. 80 plus viewers online, so thank you guys. You guys should give some hearts and likes online there for your candidates and your moderators and timekeepers. We definitely appreciate that. We have the space for a little bit longer, so everybody's welcome to hang out, grab some cookies, some coffee, some snacks, and get to know your candidates a little bit better. So thank you guys all for coming. Have a great evening.
I know we're over, but just so you know, the election results will be posted on the Charcusta Facebook and website. So look for Charcusta. You can find the results Saturday night, the unofficial results.